I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched.
To what extent does a single strike against a single target define President Trump's approach to what U.S. intelligence agencies call the most diverse array of national security threats to the U.S. in decades, from Syria to Russia to North Korea, China, and ISIS?
The world is a mess. I inherited a mess. Whether it's the Middle East, whether it's North Korea, whether it's so many other things.
So what is, in effect, the Trump doctrine?
We do what we can to make sure that our interests, both economically and national security, are at the forefront. We're not just going to become the world's policemen running around the country, running around the world.
Military action against one side of a war the U.S. has studiously avoided would seem to represent a shift from an America First strategy, despite Trump's many assurances to the contrary.
I'm not, and I don't want to be, the president of the world. I'm the president of the United States. And from now on, it's going to be America first.
However, in the case of Syria, his administration is offering contradictory messages on whether the Syrian leader, Bashar al-Assad, must go.
Regime change is something that we think is going to happen because all of the parties are going to see that Assad's not the leader that needs to be taking place for Syria.
Our priority in Syria, John, really hasn't changed. I think the president's been quite clear. First and foremost, we must defeat ISIS.
Elsewhere, the next steps are equally unclear. In the battle against ISIS, there hasn't been much visible difference between President Trump and President Obama, aside from some tough talk. Fact is, the U.S. battle plan remains much the same. A U.S.-led air campaign backed up by very limited U.S. forces on the ground, largely in support of Iraqi military and Syrian rebel forces. Again, despite Trump's frequent rhetoric to the contrary.
I would bomb the out of him.
In Asia, the Trump administration is making another show of force this week, diverting a U.S. carrier group to the Korean peninsula, following recent North Korean missile launches. However, Trump's meeting with the foreign leader most able to restrain Pyongyang, Chinese President Xi Jinping, failed to produce a plan to de-escalate tensions with the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Trump himself has often said that the difficulty in discerning his intentions is actually part of his plan.
I don't want people to figure me out. I don't want people to know what my plan is. I have plans. I have plans. But I don't want them to know what I'm thinking. Does that make sense?